Today, we are talking about something a little bit different. We're talking about how to GM when you are going through real life pain. This is a very apt video, and the reason I'm making this is because it's relevant to me. I am in the middle of a divorce. It's very messy. It is not a great feeling situation. This is why I'm not in my studio, is because I am in the midst of moving, and I have parked my office and my dog, which you can see his kennel back there. I have parked these things here in this garage, which I'm very grateful for, but these are being my office and basically my quarters to work from until I move into a new apartment. And so we're going to talk about how to continue to be a GM when you're going through rough times. Let's get into it. Now, before we dive into this video, I just want to give a couple shout outs. Number one, I want to shout out Solstice, our most recent partner level supporter. Solstice, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you for all that you do. And I really appreciate the support for the YouTube, the email, and the Discord. I want to give a big shout out to all of our Ko-Fi members, all of our Ko-Fi supporters, community supporters who help support the channel, who help keep it going even through difficult times like this. Thank you so much to all of you. It means the most to me. It means the world to me. If you want to become a Ko-Fi community supporter, link is in the description. You get all kinds of cool stuff when you sign up. You can also grab my top 10 GM tips ebook for free if you join my email list. Link to that is in the description. It's my top 10 tips, how to become a better game master pretty much immediately. Learn through 20 plus years of game mastering. Now, I want to dive into this topic, and the goal here at GM Philosophy is this: empower game masters to run better games. That's what the whole point of this channel is for. That's what the whole point of our Discord community is for. You can find that in the description. That's what the whole point of my email newsletter is for. Which, speaking of that, I haven't sent out an email in a little while. Don't you worry. I'll be back up and running very soon. But I have been falling behind on the emails lately. But that's okay. I'm going through a rather, let's say it's an irregular time. It's an irregular time. Now, how to jam when you're going through real life pain? This is, I think, a question that is relevant because there are many game masters out there who are human. In fact, I might even go as far as to say nearly 100% of them are human. And guess what humans do? They go through hard times. Hard things happen. They go through loss. They go through stressful situations. They get depressed. They get anxious. They have all kinds of opportunities to feel less than awesome. And those opportunities do show themselves. And what do you do when it happens? Well, if you're a TTRPG gamer, you either stop gaming or you continue to game. Which is better? Sometimes you have to stop. Sometimes you got to take a break. I took a break from playing in my Sunday night group with William. William runs game. I'm playing Gramazek, Lawful Evil Minotaur Bard. And I love that game, but I had to tap out on that one because Sunday night I was going through just a crazy level of anxiety. I had work things I was lining up. I was trying to get my life resituated in this transition period. And to be honest, even if I would have had the time, I actually didn't have the time because I did actually have work stuff to line up. And I think the game runs from 7 to 10. And I think I was actually working until 10:30 or something like that. But even if I didn't have that to do, would I have had the emotional bandwidth to play? Probably not. But what about running a game? Running a game requires even so much more bandwidth than playing. Now, I'm getting ready to run tomorrow night, the Barren Lands. Am I going to run it? Yes, that's the plan. But the reason for why I can is because I've been stressed to the max for the last 10 days. I mean, anxious doesn't even start to describe it. I'm not usually an anxious person by nature, but this situation has gotten me stressed. And so, I just am okay, last Tuesday I did run the game, but I was in the middle of such a high level of stress that I'll be honest, it was almost a blackout for me. I ran that game and it was fun, but I will be honest, it took a lot of effort for me just to be mentally present, just to literally keep my mind in the here and now while I was running it. But that being said, I have gotten to a more calm place now. And so I think, yeah, tomorrow night I'm going to run it, and I'm probably going to actually have fun, and I'm actually going to be way more mentally present, like usual. Usually I'm very, very tuned in, very focused game master. But here's the thing. There are some ways that you can run sessions and make it easier on yourself when you are going through very difficult life situations, when you're stressed out, when you're going through pain, when things are happening. But I think that before we talk about that, we should talk about, well, how do you know if you should play or if you should stop? Well, here's the thing. If you just don't have it in you, then take a break. I love D&D. I think D&D is really important. But, sometimes you need a break from anything, even if it's really good. Sometimes you need a break to be by yourself. Sometimes you need a break to hang out with friends or family. Sometimes you need a break to wrap yourself in a blanket, watch your favorite show. Sometimes you just need a break. And when you're playing D&D, there's no exception there. D&D can be really awesome. I'll talk about the benefits of D&D all day long. But if you reach a point where you're just like, I can't do it tonight, you shouldn't force yourself. I don't think you should force yourself to do that. And to me, that's like the primary metric. That's like the metric you want to focus on is, do I feel like I can show up? Do I want to show up? Is it going to be fun for me to do that? Or is it just going to be misery for me trying to push through it? A lot of people think that the game master is like, oh, they're responsible for the game. Like they want to make the game fun for the players. But don't forget that as the game master, you are also a player. You deserve to enjoy the game, and you should enjoy the game. And if you just have to limp yourself through it, just force your way through it by sheer power of will because you're feeling so crappy, that's not fun. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you should know. That's how you know whether you should play or not. So let's talk about how you can make it easier on yourself. I've got a couple tips. I wrote them down. Number one, you can run lower prep or one-shot sessions. If you're going through a very hard time, you may not have time to prep as much as usual. That's time to improvise, man. That's the time to improvise. There are a lot of tools you can use to improvise. You can grab my ultimate adventure generator, massive collection of 163 random roll tables on 310 print-friendly pages. This book basically lets you random roll nearly any aspect of adventure generation. You can select the adventure theme, define the main quest or objective, choose a setting or location, identify the main antagonist, determine key NPCs, generate obstacles and challenges, add complications or plot twists, whatever. Like, for example, let's go down here to the, let's see what chapter is this. Chapter 1, selecting the adventure theme. What's the adventure genre? What's the primary theme? Setting, environment, tone and mood, secondary theme, cultural inspiration. And then it just goes on. And then I also have like a D1, there's a D20 table that have plug and play theme ideas. If you like random roll tables, you can click down in the link in the description, purchase this for $5.99 in my personal bookstore. Or if you join my Ko-Fi, you get this as a free download. You get access to my entire ebook collection. And fun fact, this will help me pay for my divorce lawyer. So, good things coming in all directions. But anyway, you can random roll things. You can go with less prep, go straight improvisation. Copy yourself an episode from your favorite TV show, translate it to the setting you're playing in, and just go cowboy on it. Like, you can save yourself a lot of time by just choosing to say, you know what, I'm just going to jump in and do it. Maybe that would be fun for you. Maybe you would like to do that. Maybe you don't have time for 6 hours of prep, but you do want to play. That's okay. Friend, if you're going through a hard time and you don't want to do a bunch of prep work and you sit down at the game and I'm your player and you're the GM and you're going to try your best, but you're going to improvise a lot of it, I'm here for it. If you're a good GM, actually improvising a lot might make it the best session you've ever run, high key. Tip number 2 is let players help co-create the story. Sit down with your players and say, listen, players, I'm going to be honest with you. I've had a very hard week for maybe XYZ reasons. I'm feeling like this, blah, blah, blah. I would like to know what you guys want to do this session, like what will your characters like to do? And here's why I'm asking. I'm asking you this because I want to work very much together this session. Like I want to work with you. Whatever your characters were kind of like hoping to go do, like whether they were hoping to go shopping or whether they were hoping to go to that dungeon they were talking about or whether they were going to go visit the guild, what would they like to do? I would like to ask you, right? So it's a lot more putting the reins in the player's hands and you stepping back and just letting them role play. This can really help to free up a lot of creative energy. And if you're running low on creative energy, this can be a great way to supplement. Tip number 3 is channel your pain into more emotionally powerful NPCs or arcs. It is true. And I have real world experience with this. going through hard situations, feeling the pain, feeling the anger, feeling the resentment, feeling the bitterness, feeling the darkness. These feelings come into us and they're a part of the human experience. But when you go through hard times, when you go through pain, it gives you a unique opportunity to channel it into your art. Some people write songs about breakups. Some people make movies about murder. Some people run D&D games and they channel all of their powerful emotions into what become very, very intriguing and emotionally evocative NPCs or villains or even friendlies or, whatever it is, animal companions even. Using your more extreme emotions as creative fuel and then putting that into your game can actually be a surprisingly helpful outlet for some of the feelings, actually. And I can tell you this from experience. This isn't my first rodeo. I'm going to let you in on something. This isn't my first divorce. I was divorced one other time. That was much different. It was a much different thing. I was much younger. This one was definitely more, let's say, ugly and complicated. So it's a different kind of stress. But even being 38 years old, it stresses me out. I haven't had enough rodeos yet that it just doesn't matter to me. And I already have ideas for how I'm going to funnel these feelings into some NPCs or villains that I may create along the way. And I think that gives me some interesting creative edge. And it can be kind of therapeutic, to be really honest. It can be therapeutic to work through some of those things. As long as you don't take it out on your players, right? You just make balanced enemies and villains, and you take the subtle nuances of those feelings and you put them into those characters. And that's your song. That's the breakup song you wrote. That's the movie you made or the short film you made or the painting you drew to kind of vent those feelings and get them out and deal with them and put them in the light and get to know them better and perhaps reach some level of peace with them. That's how it's done. And when you're running games, to not allow your TTRPG to be at least some measure of a place where you can process feelings would be a great waste because it's so good for it. So that, my friends, is my advice. If you are going through hard times, if you have things going on in your life, if you are in a lot of pain, if you're dealing with, negative feelings, and you're questioning, well, how can I GM going through this? There's my 2 cents on the matter. I've tried to keep this video relatively concise because I could talk for a long time about this, but I hope that this has given you a little bit of insight and peace. I want to give a huge shout out to our gold level supporter, Craig. Craig, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you for everything you do for supporting the content here on the YouTube, on the Discord, and on the email list. I want to thank all our Ko-Fi supporters. I want to thank all our Discord counselors, and I want to thank you for watching this video. Please hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're here for the first time, I'm sorry that you're meeting me in such a weird in-between state. But the channel is doing really well. And I am very, very committed to continuing the journey. And that's why I'm making these videos, because I think that capturing some of this raw emotion in these videos might be good and valuable. It might be good for me, and it might be good for the audience. And we might catch some interesting value that we don't often touch on in these videos. So, shabam. I hope it works. I hope it's good. I hope people get some value out of it. And hey, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode of GM Philosophy in the Morning. I'm here every single day talking to game masters about how they can run the best games ever. Roll some D100s for me at your next game, and I will see you awesome people on the next one.